We get people almost every single week who have either criminal or civil issues, and they wonder, can they get a second passport? This comes up probably more than just about any question I've got, I guess because we have so many people that are coming in that are asking this question, and the answer is yes and no. It depends on what your problem is, and when did it occur, and did you spend time in prison, and if you did, how long was the prison time? So there's just so many factors to look at. I'll tell you some of the biggest problems that we run into with people, though, is we have a problem with people that put off on getting second passports, and they just think, why do I have to worry about that? I'm not a criminal. And then what happens is a civil issue comes up. Now, civil issues can turn you away from getting a second passport just as quick as a criminal issue can have. And what happens to a lot of people is they put off getting a second passport, and then they have a civil issue that comes up, either a bankruptcy situation where they might have filed the bankruptcy. Others went through the bankruptcy and went through everything, but the Citizenship Department won't take them. Just the fact they went through this bankruptcy, even if it was the problem was solved, you can still have issues there, or you might be able to still get it. It depends on a lot of different issues. But I can tell you, if you go in and you have a bankruptcy, or you have a situation where you don't settle a judgment against you, I can tell you, it doesn't have to be criminal. It can be a civil issue. You're going to have a real difficult time trying to get a second passport. And we're not talking about criminal. We're talking about a civil issue. Okay, so this is some things that you're going to have to think about, and it's not just a business partner. It can be your ex-wife coming back to suing you, and you're playing broke, and basically there's a judgment against you, and it could be legit or it might not be legit. You're being broke, but if you're really broke, why are you getting a second passport? Because the second passport is going to be pretty costly to get to begin with, depending on where you go. We do have some residency by investment programs that you can get, which are pretty close to free, but it will take you years to get the passport. It will not be an instant type thing. One reason I'm bringing this out, we had a guy that was several years back. He was a lawyer from California, and he applied for citizenship, didn't mention anything about his past. Didn't hear from the guy for about 2 years. He asked me enough questions to fill a book up. And then 2 years later, all of a sudden, he wants to get the passport like yesterday. And I'm thinking, this guy must have some sort of issue. I mean, he was in a real big rush. And I did some searching, couldn't find anything. We went ahead and submitted his application, got it approved, and right after it was approved, they evidently had found out that this guy was involved. This guy was a lawyer in California. He was involved with a Ponzi scheme. And they ended up not just, revoking his citizenship, but he lost all the government fees, everything he paid in. Now, typically, when these revocations occur, you won't lose the property unless there's a judgment where you're at, whether it be in the states or whatever. And a lot of times what happens is the government will actually make you sign a notice to relinquish all your assets. If you don't, they'll throw you in prison. And so a lot of people end up, because of the time that they throw you in jail and whatever, they end up surrendering the assets. So then basically, you would have to forfeit your assets too. My whole thing is, if you want to prevent revocations, get the passport before you have a civil or criminal issue. Okay. Then if it comes up later, I've never seen a case where they've revoked citizenship for someone who had discovered they had a problem after they got the passport, and they end up, basically using their citizenship as a protection factor, and it did work, okay, but it worked only because they had the problem afterwards, and they ended up leaving that country. And typically we don't like getting those type cases, but we do have people that legitimately don't have any problems when they get a second passport, and then they end up something coming up, civil, criminal issue, whatever, and pretty much you're protected at that point, as long as you didn't know that you had a problem beforehand, and you didn't lie on the application that because they're going to ask you, do you know of something coming up where you have a problem, or you've already had an existing problem. The reason I'm bringing this out to you, I'm just going to give you an example of just what has happened in Cyprus. The Cypriot government now has revoked 222 citizenships from individuals who had become citizens through the country's Citizenship by Investment program. And the rescinded citizenships pertain to 63 main applicants and 159 of their family members. The revocation proceedings have been ongoing since October of 2021. Now, folks, this is something you really need to take seriously. And I tell people, don't wait to the last minute to be applying for these passports. Do it before you have a problem or you think you're going to have a problem. Don't even get to the point where you think you're going to have a problem before you're going to do it. Do it now where you don't have these type of things. I mean, a second passport's like an insurance policy, okay? And insurance companies do not want to insure you if you've got, if there's a hurricane coming through the Caribbean and all of a sudden now you want a policy for your house. It doesn't work that way. You've got to plan ahead of time, okay? And I know you like to wait the last minute. A lot of people do. But these are some things, if you don't plan ahead of time, you're going to destroy the benefit of getting it when you need it. Also, folks, if you want to legally get around your income taxes on how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do three things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. We've got around 900 videos now. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And also go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. Now, through the affected investors will receive no compensation for the loss of citizenship. They won't be deprived of their principal investment. This is in Cyprus. So they don't lose the property, but they're going to lose any sort of government fees, background check fees, any sort of legal fees they pay for. That's down a rat hole. And they probably hired a lawyer trying to help them out on this too, trying to, keep from this happening. All that money's down the drain too. They've been better off to have, brought these facts out before they got a second passport and they wouldn't have these problems. But now this came out, following Al Jazeera. They came out with a exposure on this Cyprus citizenship scandal back in November 2020, and I actually had a video somewhat on that at that point. It was at the preliminary stages, and it was at this point that they prompted the cancellation of the program, which sparked criminal investigations with left applications worth about $1.5 billion pending. The government mandated an independent review of the program. It found that as many as 3,609 citizenships, which was 53% of the total granted under the program, had been unlawfully naturalized, because legal proceedings that would enable the granting of citizenship dependents had been lacking. And they were lacking because people weren't exposing these problems they had. Now, a number of the citizenships issued to even to main applicants, as many as a third, were also unlawful because the investors had obtained them without fully adhering to the program's requirements. The independent commission at the time recommended citizenship revocation in the case of 85 identified main applicants who it said had likely committed criminal offenses to obtain their passports, such as by providing false documents or statements. Now, at the time of the program's November 2020 termination, 1,417 applications, or 691 from main applicants, the rest were from dependents, remain unprocessed upon completing its review of the cases on hand a year later. Now, Cyprus rejected all but a quarter of the applicants. If you want to know more on this and how this works, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And again, if you want new videos like this, hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.